place where you needed to be. And you
That
didn't
is
have to
true.
make a special trip out there. You were there where you needed to be.
That's right. I was where I needed to be. It's true.
Absolutely.
So, yep. All right. We are live on YouTube. And hey, everybody. Good to see you. It is good to be back. All right. So, we're going to take a moment to move ourselves spiritually into a space of Shabbat. So, whatever you need to do to open yourself up to rest or in peace or joy, whatever you need from this Shabbat. What's that? Oh my gosh. Yada da 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 da, yada da 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 da, yada da 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 da, yada da da, yada da 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 da, yada da 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 da, yada da 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 da, yada da da. We begin on page 126 in the blue bracketed numbers. We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat, which unites us in faith and hope, for Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness, for Shabbat peace born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing, O God. It's my pleasure to invite Helene for the blessing over the candles. And Helene says if she can get a male person to help her come up to the bima, she'll come up to the bima. You can have a seat right over there.
I feel so special.
You are special.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. Baruch atah Adonai.
Oh, we need to light the candles first. Do you want me to do it?
Yes, maybe.
Okay, go ahead.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu l'chad l'pnei shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
And thank you, everybody, for putting up with me.
Excellent. We turn now to the Kiddush on page 123, and I'd love to invite Rafael Gonzalez to the Bima.
Praise to you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine. Praise to you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who finding favor with us sanctified us with mitzvot. In love and favor, you made the holy Shabbat our heritage as a reminder of the work of creation. As first among our sacred days, it recalls the exodus from Egypt. You chose us and set us apart from the peoples. In love and favor, you have given us your holy Shabbat as an inheritance. Praise to you, Adonai our God, who sanctifies Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Elohim Gadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. If you're able, I invite you to rise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafem. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon inchilanu Zikaron lemase v'reshit, Kihu yom techila lemikraye kodesh, Zecher letziat Mitzrayim. Kivanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, Mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat. You may be seated. That was page 123. But we're turning to page 142 for Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Boechem leshalom malachei hashalom malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Barchuni leshalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Tzedchem leshalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Page 145, I'd like to invite you to read with me in the English. Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days, lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways. The Baruch Hu is on page 146 in the blue bracketed numbers. If you're able, I invite you to rise. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai. Lai, 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 Baruch Hu et Adonai, HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai, HaMevorach, HaMevorach, Leolam Vaed, HaMevorach, HaMevorach, Leolam Vaed. You may be seated. Page 148, I invite you to read with me. That's in the blue bracketed numbers. Do you have a prayer book who just came in? You do, good. Okay. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsevaot is your name. Ever living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai Ma'ariv Aravim. Page 150. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha ahavta Amcha ahavta Torah umitzvot, chukim umishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbenu uvkumenu nasiach b'chukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha uv'mitzvotecha leolam va'ed ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem nege yomam v'layla nege yomam v'layla ve'avatcha al tasir mimenu leolamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev amo Yisrael. The Shema is on page 152. If you're able, I invite you to rise. Shema You may be seated. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. On page 157 in the blue bracketed numbers, I invite you to read with me. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Page 158. Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eleh, nora tehilot osef eleh. Malechutecha ra'u vanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe. Elianu ve'amru, Elianu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eleh, nora tehilot osef eleh. V'ne'emar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov, uge'alo miyad chazak mimenu, baruch ata Adonai, ga'al Yisrael. Page 160. I invite you to read with me. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, hapurei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 162. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. The tefillah begins on page 164. If you're able, I invite you to rise. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'koneh HaKol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, U'mevii Geula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Vezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol atah Rav Lehoshia, Morid HaTahal, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech noflim verofeh cholim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato lishenei afar, michamocha ba'al givurot, umidomelach, melech memit umechayeh, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מלך בחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. You may be seated. Page 173 in the blue bracketed numbers. I invite you to read with me. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Page 175. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. Modim is on page 176. And this is the time when we take a couple of moments to share anything that we might be feeling grateful for today. So if you're on Zoom, you're welcome to put something in the chat, but also anyone is welcome to share out loud. Marshall, are you waving? Do you want to say something? Could you unmute, please?
Yes. At the end of this month, I'm going to be celebrating my 64th wedding anniversary, August 30th. So I'm really happy about it this month. The end of this month.
64th wedding anniversary.
Yeah. Yeah. One more year to go for 65.
Wow. Mazal tov. That's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Great. So Susan posted earlier, I don't know if she intended it to be for the gratitude practice, but I will join her in saying a big thank you to everyone who led services while I was on vacation. So thank you so, so much for doing that. Patricia is grateful for all the DoorDash and other delivery guys that deliver food and laundry. Susan is grateful for the temperature becoming more bearable, as am I. And Karen is grateful that I am back, and Margaret is grateful that her follow-up doctor appointment for colitis went well. Yes, I am grateful for that too. Charlotte, what are you grateful for?
I am very grateful to the staff in my building. We have no elevator. We will not have an elevator for maybe another 2 months because they're replacing it. And without the kindness of that staff, I would have no way of going up and down. I'm only on the second floor, but I cannot do the steps without assistance because I have a walker.
Right.
So they schlepp my walker, they schlepp my packages, they watch over me. My super treats me like I'm his mother. I am blessed with these people.
What a blessing. Amen to that. Debbie and Freema, or Debbie.
Sorry, I couldn't unmute. Okay, I am grateful that you are back. I am also grateful for all the leaders that did services during this month. But I'm also grateful that I was in touch with a few older friends that I kept on calling, and I was getting really worried, and they finally called today. So I am very happy that everyone, as far as I know, is okay.
Great. I'm into that. All right. Folks in the room, who's feeling grateful? Helene. So Helene is grateful to be here tonight. She had her first chemo infusion since her stroke. So she's feeling kind of tired, but glad she was able to be here. And she's grateful that I'm back, and she's grateful that my dad is okay. Thank you. I'm also grateful that my dad is okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. So grateful for being able to see your parents in Argentina and to come back with no hiccups at immigration, and grateful for 8 years of Judah because when you fell down the stairs, you only broke your arm and I think hit your head. Because the judo helped her to know how to fall. See, we all thought you got attacked and had to fight somebody off. That would have been easy. Her arm would be fine if that were all. Who else is grateful for something? I am also grateful that my dad is okay and is home and is recuperating well. Glad the heat broke. I'm glad of that as well. Anybody else? Julia, little things also matter. Oh. Julia's niece, who is 4, called her from Ohio to tell her that there was a baby elephant at the zoo. Aw, that's adorable. And Julia doesn't get to see her that often. So the technology that allows them to stay connected is very wonderful. Anybody else here in the room? Linda Kushner.
I'm grateful Jackson came home from Singapore and he loved it. So,
Wow.
He did the course. So I'm very happy for him. Thank you.
Wow, amazing. I'm into that. Let's see. Marshall is grateful for the temple allowing him to do 2 services. And Linda is grateful for her wonderful, thoughtful daughter, Faith. Anybody else? All right. Lots of things to be grateful for. I am grateful to be back with you. For all these things, O Sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai, your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha lecha na'el lehodot. Our prayer for peace, Shalom Rav, is on page 178. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov benecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Baruch atah Adonai hamivarech et amo Yisrael bashalom. We have come now to our quiet prayer. There are words on pages 180 and 181 in the blue bracketed numbers. There are words on the screen. But of course, we can always use the words in our own hearts. We continue quietly. Imre fi v'hegyon libi lefanecha. Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, v'goali, v'goali. May the words of our mouths and the meditations in our hearts be acceptable in your sight, O God, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. We turn our thoughts now to those among us and those in our hearts who are ill and who are in need of healing of body, of mind, or of spirit. Our Misha Berach is on page 371. Those of you on Zoom are welcome to put any names in the chat of anyone for whom you are praying for healing. Also, everyone will have an opportunity to add names out loud. We hold in our thoughts and in our hearts for healing this evening Susan Sisler, Barry Charles, Melissa Lumish, Jody Siegel Stein, Viola Murray, Debbie Rubowitz, Wendy Hershey, Gary Hershey, Isaac Hockman, Lennon Safe, Charles Slaybaugh, Miklos Greenberg, Joellen Fox, Valerie Pace, Sarah Bard Ratliff, Kenny Schweiger, Liza Nunes, Paul Gold, Gina Marie Cortez, Janet Schlesinger, Jim Festa, Amanda Alone, Jonathan Falkowski, Martha Vincent, Ingrid Grosso, Eddie DeAngelis, Vicky Lightnaker, Nettie Trommer, Mia Gannon, Jeff Abel, Freya Kashmir, Delphine Wolf, Helene Smith, Liz Yasuda, Mark and Paul Steiner, Celia Karp, Aki Yasuda, Stephen Belay, Patty Cohen, Monica Bayer, Carol Rose, Tom Scottagaza, Linda Kushner, Edna Goldhammer, Celeste Wiseblood, Sarah West, Jill Travis Goldberg, Celeste Cooperman, Sunny Brandler, Harold Dembo, Ira Singer, Maureen Bard, Edna Rizel, Barry Slotnick, Marlene Unterberger, Amy Clark, Dorothy Edelstein, Ebby Engel, Hiroko Yajima Rhodes, Shirley Spivak, Rebecca Burcham, Michael Getman, Debbie Silverstein, Isaac Sarfati, Bobby Baumgarten, David Bader, B. Penrose Hoover, Judith Weiss. Joan and Dawn Sorgan, Tracy and Joyce Strumpf, Roberta Rothkin, Stacy and David Mauser, Hannah Paynes, Amy Balin, Judith Weiss, Margaret Bernstein, Mike Erb, Nicole Hall, George Hall, Augustine Davis, Damian Cologne, Jennifer Magoop, DeAndre Wynn, Juliet Dale, Maureen Dale, Angela Davis, Sarah West, Bill Zolan, Hillary Selvin, Rosalie Fromberg, Pat Flood, Martini Narcisse, Dina Curet, Kathy Sundby, Claude Smith, Jenny G., Harry Munns, Joanne Snyder, Leslie Sedlitz, Ernest Tornincasa, Batya Ungar, Helen Kramer, Helen Samuels, Gina and Jacob Becker, Vanessa Johnson, John Holder, Della Holder. Freema?
Jimmy Sertia, Lisa Sinetti, Annalise Nerone, Deborah Rockauer, Elliot Drucker, Stephen and Arlene Schneier, Phyllis O'Neill, Alicia Serpi, Martin Bennett, Richard Gordon, Kathy Brother Gabby, Diana Gonzalez, Richard Kurlander, Security Guards Yvette and Jackie Smallis, Paula Smith, Demir family. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on Zoom?
Yes,
Okay. Oh, go ahead, Linda.
thank you. David Gershon, Stevie Doppel, Mort Kessler, Phyllis Benjamin, Lori Benjamin, Ronnie Katlowitz, Lana Epstein, Bernice Ochansky. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, if you're in the room and have names to add, please rise or raise your hand. Mona? Helene? Luke? Ruth? Anyone else? Okay. We include all of those who have been wounded in war and conflict around the world, including, of course, in Gaza, also in Ukraine, Afghanistan, Sudan, Haiti, lots of other places as well. And we include those who have been harmed in recent natural disasters, including flooding in Texas and wildfires that are raging in various places as well, and other natural disasters, and also those who have been harmed by gun violence. Page 300. And Mara Schwarzstein, thank you very much for that reminder. And Patty Ann Kuberski and Helene. Well, we said Helene, I think. Yes, we did. Page 371 in the middle of the page. Isha Berach Avotenu Mikor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu Mekor habracha la'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Shabbat Shalom. John Green, an author who is probably best known for his young adult novel, The Fault in Our Stars, recently published a new book called Everything is Tuberculosis. Is anybody familiar with that? Yeah, I started reading it a couple of days ago. I'm not done yet, but I've read some of it. He writes about the history of tuberculosis and its continued prevalence. It is the deadliest infectious disease in the world, despite the fact that today it is both preventable and treatable. In his discussion of history, he writes, it is a strange fact of human history that we tend to focus so little on disease. In my college survey course about the history of humans, I learned of wars and empires and trade routes, but I heard precious little about microbes, even though illness is a defining feature of human life. He theorizes that perhaps we ignore illness because of our bias toward agency and control. We would like to imagine that we captain the ships of our lives, that human history is largely the story of human choice. He goes on to write about the many ways tuberculosis has shaped history and culture, including the invention of the cowboy hat, the beginning of World War I, and New Mexico becoming a state, all related in some way to tuberculosis. Read the book, it's pretty interesting. And he also writes about how humanity has understood and interacted with the illness. History is stories told. Journalism is stories told. Our memories are stories told. The stories we tell are shaped by our perspectives and our life experiences. In every story, choices are made about what is included and what isn't, what is emphasized and what is minimized, and these choices are made consciously or unconsciously. Those telling the story often emphasize those parts that fit the point they want to make, leaving out what seems irrelevant. This week's Torah portion is Devarim. It's the first parsha in the book of Deuteronomy. All of Deuteronomy takes place on the steppes of Moab, on the east side of the Jordan River from Canaan, the promised land. The Israelites are finally poised to enter that land, and Moses knows he is not going to be with them when they do. Deuteronomy is comprised of his final speeches to his people before they go on their way without him. Moses begins in this week's parsha with an overview of their history together in the wilderness. And the way he tells it is not exactly the way it's written in the books of Exodus and Numbers. There are events he leaves out and details that he changes. For example, He describes the process of setting up a system of courts so that all disputes except the most serious or the most baffling ones can be handled by judges and chieftains instead of everything being brought to Moses himself. In this telling in Deuteronomy, Moses presents this as his idea. But in the book of Exodus, Moses is following his father-in-law Jethro's advice when he sets up the structure. So that's a change. And we don't know if Moses forgot it wasn't his idea in the first place, or if that detail seemed unimportant for the point that he's making now, which seems to have something to do with judging fairly and justly. Either way, Moses is the one telling the story. And the only way we know what's different or what is left out is because we happen to have another telling of the same events in other books in Exodus and Numbers. As so many people, and I expect many of you are, I am deeply troubled by the recent reports of starvation in Gaza. The part that Israel is playing by failing to alleviate the suffering is horrible. It is also difficult not knowing for sure what is true. Hamas leaders are masters of propaganda and public relations and have historically contributed to the suffering of their own people, using them as human shields and diverting aid money for their own use. Journalists also sometimes misreport or perhaps are biased, as the New York Times did recently when it published a picture of an emaciated child and later had to issue a clarification that the child's condition was due to other health conditions, not starvation. But it remains true that there is hunger in Gaza now, and it is a humanitarian emergency. I am ashamed of the government of Israel. I feel associated with them as a Jew, though I have no control over what they do. I know that many, many Israeli Jews also abhor their current government. I feel helpless to change anything that is happening, but I do believe that the morality here is clear. Here is some of what our tradition teaches as cited by Rabbi Shai Held. In Proverbs chapter 25, verse 21, we read, "If your enemy is hungry, give him bread to eat. If he is thirsty, give him water to drink." There's a midrash on that. The midrash says, "If your enemy is hungry, feed him bread, and if he is thirsty, give him water." That is the quote. Said Rabbi Hama bar Hanina, "Even though he intended to kill you, yet he arrived hungry or thirsty in your house, feed him and give him water. Why? For you will be heaping live coals upon his head, and the Eternal will reward you." Yeshalem is the word there. And then he says, do not read "will reward you," but rather "will reconcile him," yashlimenu, with you. So he does a play on words there to change it from "God will reward you" to "God will reconcile him with you." Ralbag, another commentator on that same spot. "If your enemy is hungry, do not refrain from showing him grace and feeding him bread. And if he is thirsty, give him water. For this is an extremely praiseworthy character trait, to be good to all people, to a friend and to an enemy. But if you are bothered by the thought, how can you be good to him when he did bad to you? Know that, in truth, in bestowing one of the greatest virtues upon your own soul, you are taking revenge on him." And Rabbi Shai Held comments on "your enemy, all the more so his child and neighbor." Now, I know that not all of us think of Gazan civilians as enemies, but some people do. And so if we are commanded to feed our enemies when they are hungry and give them drink when they are thirsty, all the more so to the victims of our enemies, the civilians. And we may not like that language of it's revenge on them, it's heaping live coals on their head. But sometimes we need that language. If you don't need that language, that's great. You can stay with the Proverbs. If your enemy is hungry, feed him. If your enemy is thirsty, give him something to drink. We need to hold to our own standards, not sink to the standards of others. We must not be like the people that we call our enemies. We need to be our best selves, even in the face of evil and enmity. It's hard to know what the truth is, and it's hard to know what we can do to bring change, but we know that each of us, including our enemies, is created in God's image. And so let us do what we can with our voices and with our donations to take care of the vulnerable in Gaza and around the world. Amen and Shabbat Shalom. Linda Kushner, is your hand up? No, it is not. Okay. We are going to turn now to the Aleinu, looking forward to a day when wars will be done and all the world will be one, whatever that may mean. I don't think it means that everyone will worship our God, but I don't think any of us can know what it would mean for the whole world to be one, but all we can do is pray for it and dream of it and work toward it. We are going to begin on page 586 at the top of the page, I think. If you're able, I invite you to rise. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגובהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Page 591. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding, loved each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו ושמו אחד. You may be seated. We turn our thoughts now to those who are no longer with us, our loved ones who have died in the past days or weeks or months, or in past years at this time of the year. I am sharing our yahrzeit list for the coming week to the screen. Those of you here in person have that list in your lavender bulletin. If you are on Zoom and there's someone you are saying the mourners Kaddish for this evening, you are welcome to put their name in the chat. And also everyone will have an opportunity to add names out loud. We remember those who have died in the past year. Shelley Malbranch, Milton Platt, Ellie Greenberg, George Adam, Jack Ignanensky, Alvin Burke, Rose Curas, Lyle Silversmith, Sandy Friedbaum, Philip Backner, Jacqueline Udelowitz, Ginny Fisher, Nita Steiner, Mildred Morell, Larry Arano, Jean Drucker, Isabel Teresa Caltabalata Frost, Robin Friedman, Dr. Carlos Humberto Salguero, Adam Michael Davis, and it's probably his yard site this upcoming week, right? His first yard site. Included on our yard site list are Alphonse Belmont, Lori Pandolfo's uncle, Dorothy Fadum, Nancy Ostrover's mother, Biff Rose, remembered by Michael Rose, Celia Rubenstein, Linda Kushner's grandmother, Samuel Schenker, Diane Schenker's father-in-law, Claire Strauss, Jeremy Brown's grandmother, Patricia Weiss, Judith Weiss's mother, and Jeanette Zarrow, Alan Zarrow's aunt. Also, Jerome Belson, who was a huge benefactor of Temple Beth Emeth. Joyce Kantrowitz is on our yard site list this week, much beloved longtime member, and Suzanne Leknos. Angela Napoli, Joel Keene, Sherry Waldron Dennis remembers her brother Emil, Michael Cohn, Warren J. Sorgan. Debbie Frima?
Debbie Kelly, Barbara Waldman, and yesterday was the first yard site of Jose Gonzalez. First year. Thank you.
Thank you. Charlotte?
On the yard site list is Erwin Mayman. He was the principal of the religious school at the Avenue Temple. And I want to mention, although I never knew him, Private Jerome E. Greenberg, who died in service to our country in World War II.
Thank you. If you're in the room and have names to add, I invite you to rise or raise your hand. Wow. Okay. Nathan? Yes. Yes. Nathan is mentioning the police officer and the other police officer, Islam, and the other people who were killed in the shooting in Manhattan this week. We include also those who have died in war and conflict around the world, in natural disasters, including the kids from the camp in Texas, and all of the others who died in the Texas flooding, and those who have died from other causes. Roseanne Levitt is also pointing out that Eva Gorodinsky on the list is her father's sister, which would be her aunt. So thank you for that. And so we include those who have died from other causes, whether in famine or terror or disaster, or alone and homeless on the streets of our cities. The Mourner's Kaddish is on page 598 in the blue bracketed numbers. I invite you, if you're able, to rise and join in or to participate according to your own custom. Page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. Ba'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehe shmei Rabbah mivarach leolam ulalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha b'richu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Damiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort to the bereaved here among us and wherever they may be. And let us say, Amen. You may be seated. Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru. Amen. A few announcements before we conclude. We do have an oneg in the community room on the other side of the lobby, and the oneg features a chocolate pound cake by my daughter Shoshi. So if you've had Shoshi's baking and you like chocolate, it's a very chocolatey pound cake. What? What? Oh, yes. Well, and she's going to go back to college soon, and then there also won't be any Shoshi baking. She'll what? Probably not that much. Thank you to Raphael and Helene for doing the blessings this evening. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., we will have our Torah study of the weekly Torah portion, Devarim. At 11 a.m., Shabbat services will be in person in the community room and on Zoom. And then at 7:15 p.m., we will gather for Havdalah and then an observance for Tisha B'Av. Tisha B'Av is on begins Saturday night and goes through Sunday night. It is our communal day of mourning. Traditionally, we read the Book of Lamentations, and so we are going to read from the Book of Lamentations, maybe not the whole book, but and you know, we'll do some talking and sharing as well. So that will be a solemn occasion. We will not have refreshments because it's a fast day. So whether or not you're fasting, we're not going to have refreshments for that event. Okay, then I guess there's nothing happening until Thursday at noon, which is Torah study is going to resume with me. And hey, we're starting the book of Exodus. We finished Genesis after, I don't know, 5 years or something. Anyway, that's on Zoom. It's really fun if you enjoy getting into like the weeds of the Torah. Touch Shabbat is on Friday at 10 a.m. The Honey from the Heart fundraiser is happening. What better gift for your loved ones than a bottle of honey for Rosh Hashanah? So there's information in the bulletin and in your email. The Brooklyn Cyclones trip with the Beshert Brotherhood, Sunday, August 17th at 2 p.m. at Maimonides Park. See, it's Jewish, Maimonides. On the Coney Island Boardwalk. Maimonides was a huge baseball fan. I don't know if you know that about him. Tickets are $25 each, $15 for kids under 3. Information for how to pay is in the bulletin and also in your email. Any other announcements? Helene. Helene wants to thank Luke for helping her come up. I'm reluctant to say for his escort services, honestly. for helping Helene up to the bima and back down. Yes, for services rendered. Any other announcements? Ooh, Julia also brought wine for the oneg. Chocolate cake and wine. It's maybe not the best pairing. Julia's hedging. All right. Excellent. If you're able, I invite you to rise. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine on you and be gracious to you. May God lift God's face towards you and give you peace. Amen. And before we go across to the oneg, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, everybody. It is good to be back.
Good Shabbos, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Good